Okay, so this is a message about marriage. I believe marriage is a holy covenant, and you know, whatever your perspective is on marriage, that's fine. But just listen to what I have to say as far as that. Even from a legal standpoint, it becomes a legally binding agreement between two people, right? It's easy to get into marriage. It's hard to get out. Yeah, for anyone that's been divorced, is my understanding, it's like one of the most difficult, painful. It could be costly, very costly for some, and so it's an agreement. It's a contract. It's legally binding, and we recognize that, and yet we don't actually realize it or live it out like it is a contract, like it is there is this covenant. And taking it from a biblical standpoint, marriage was instituted by God, and there's supposed to be this beautiful thing of two people coming together and becoming one. And it's supposed to be this covenant between not just two people, a man and a woman, and God, but God is going to be part of that. He's the witness to this marriage, okay? And so why is that important? Because when we have when we believe that we have a witness to our agreement, we're going to be more likely to try to keep up with that agreement, okay? And so understanding marriage as a holy covenant, and there's this agreement between two people, it really pushes me to say, you know what, I got to do my work in this covenant, this agreement. Like if you have a contract, you have certain responsibilities to the other party, right? If you sign up for a cell phone with a contract, you have a responsibility to pay your bill every month or whatever it is, right? And we get into these contracts all the time in this society, right? And we realize we have certain responsibilities. They have certain responsibilities. If you have a cell phone, you expect service. You're not going to be paying for a cell phone and you're not getting any service. You're going to be like, forget this, I'm getting out of this contract. You guys said you were going to provide service in my city or wherever I'm working and living. So if either party doesn't live up to their side of the agreement, then that contract fails, right? I mean, the other party's going to be looking to get out of it. So marriage takes two people to work together to work out this contract. And really, when we look at marriage today, there's just not that commitment, right? People go into it, because based on their love, and this American sense of love has to do with infatuation, has to do with how they feel about the person. But contracts are not about feelings. It's about obligation. It's about, you're supposed to do this and this and this and this and that, and they're supposed to do XYZ in return, right? And so, but when we approach a marriage, we think about it one-sided, like this person is supposed to make me happy, and that's not what marriage is really supposed to be about, because it's supposed to be trying to make each other happy. And if we focus on making the other person happy, then we could be happy too, right? And there's that possibility, at least. I had the golden opportunity, if you will, to kind of be mentored by older members in the church that I grew up, learning about Christianity and everything, and they really kind of instilled in me this idea that marriage is not about happiness, it's about holiness. So if we change our focus on marriage that is supposed to make us happy, and we start to think about how we could become better people, how we could be a better spouse, how we can love our spouse even more, how we could outdo each other in love and good works. If we could start to think about how to meet each other's needs and support each other's dreams and desires and stuff like that, we're gonna find ourselves in a much happier place. And here I'm in my garden, and I get a lot of inspiration from the garden, right? And I think about marriage kind of like a garden, right? Um, Gardens can produce a lot of wonderful things for you. You know, delicious food, and just pleasure to the eye when you see flowers and fruits and whatever. You know, but if you don't take care of your garden, you let the weeds overgrow. And I'll show you a little clip of, you know, some weeds that are overgrowing my garden right now. So it's time to get in there, clear it out, and get ready for the fall harvest. I mean, fall garden type of thing. But yeah, weeds will choke off your plants, you know, and make your garden unfruitful, and cause you even plants to die because you're not taking care of them. So if you don't water and feed them and make sure that the weeds don't overgrow them, then those plants can die. So in our marriage, it's the same way. You want your marriage to be fruitful, you want it to be full of joy and peace, then you got to spend time in that relationship, and you got to help that marriage to grow and to prosper. And that means spending time with each other, making, you know, tending to the needs of the other person, making sure that you're not just trying to do what you want to do in the relationship, but you're trying to find ways to do what the other person wants to do. And you know, making sure you spend your time and money on things that are important to the other person, not just what is important for you. And so once you start learning your spouse, then you can start to be more effective at meeting their needs. And it's like the garden. I mean, different soil types need different type of amendments to the soil, and different amount of water requirements, different things like that. So all those things need to be taken into account, and unless you're like really like investing your time and attention, then you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss out the little signs that things are either doing well or doing bad, and being able to foster what is doing well and keep and promote it. And so that's the same with our marriage. So we want to be investing in our marriage on a regular basis, making that you know, spending that quality time, and just really just making sure that things don't get out of control, things are not neglected. Don't just push off, you know, things because you're non-confrontational. There's ways to talk about things and deal with things in a marriage that could help really be fruitful. It may hurt at first, you know, but you gotta try. You gotta try to open yourself up and be able to explore those topics that are, you know, important to you, what's important to your spouse. Help them to be able to deal with those things, because we're all broken people. And so, you know, two people coming together in marriage is one of the most difficult things and difficult relationships we'll ever have, because unlike even children who we raise and then they're gone, you know, when they turn adults, they leave the house, right? A marriage is supposed to be for life, and to have that commitment, a lifelong commitment to each other. That's a difficult thing to work out. So being able to love each other and understand each other is so important. And it's easy when you become so familiar with each other to take each other for granted, or to say, oh, it's on autopilot. No, and just like a garden, it's not going to be on autopilot, man. Every season you got to go in there and do some work, do some things that you don't like, pull some weeds, you may have to you know, prune some branches, and branches may be getting out of control and blocking other fruit trees. So in a marriage, it's the same way. Don't take your spouse for granted. Loving that person, be attentive to their needs, and just make sure that you're not taking them for granted, because if you do, you're missing out, you know. It's so wonderful to come out into a garden that's thriving and beautiful, and be able to say, wow, yeah, so this is the hard work that I did months ago. Now I'm starting to see the fruit of it, or years in the working, and now I'm starting to grow things that I wasn't able to grow before. And so that I had that experience here at this garden. There was a lot of things that weren't growing. Even these bananas behind me, they were planted in another part of the garden, and then I moved them. That might have something to do with it, but I think even being access to different nutrients that are coming into the soil here has made the difference. And these bananas have like doubled in size from when I was originally here. So, you know, just small things like that. It's just, you could see the benefit of your hard work over the years, and you're going to see the fruitfulness of your marriage just start to just be and just so much that, I mean, it's going to be evident to all that you put the work into the relationship. And people may just think that it was naturally like that, but it's not. You know, you put the work into it. That the garden, it's not that you have good soil. And my neighbor was trying to compliment me. Oh, well, that's because you got good soil. I was like, you remember what my soil used to look like? It wasn't growing anything. I wasn't able to grow tomatoes. And yet, over the years, putting in more organic matter and fertilizing and trying to change the pH of the soil, all those things have accumulated into having a much more robust growing conditions. And so I'm seeing the fruit of that. And people may not understand the work that you put into it, but you will know, and you're going to benefit from it, and your spouse is going to benefit from it. And so try to come together, work things out. Don't let little things become big things, and choke off your marriage. So hope that helps.